Okay, so since this week we are talking about how matter can change states, then we are going to read the textbook about it. And I thought it would be fun for us to read together. So you can follow along with me as I read. So our essential question today is, how does temperature affect matter? And we have some vocabulary words like evaporate and condense. So just follow along with me as I read. How can heating change matter? Have you ever left a bar of chocolate in your pocket in summer? When you reached in to get it, it was probably melting. Melting is a change from a solid to a liquid. Some solids, such as gold and glass, will only melt when they are very hot. Other solids, such as ice and butter, melt at much lower temperatures. So when gold melts, you can pour it into molds. As the gold cools, it will harden. So we've talked about that in the other video, right? In the experiment video where we talked about if you add heat to a solid, a lot of the times it will melt into a liquid. So it's changing state from a solid to a liquid. Solid ice cubes melt when left at room temperatures because room temperature is warmer than the freezing point of ice. Even though it's not usually really hot inside the room that you're in, it's hotter than it is in the freezer. So that's why those start to melt. Water can change to a gas when it is heated. Evaporate means to change from a liquid to a gas and go into the air. If enough heat is added to water, it will boil. When water boils, you can see bubbles. The bubbles show that the water is changing to a gas called water vapor. We cannot see water vapor. A lot of times we can see it when it first evaporates into the air. You can kind of see the steam coming up. Steam is another word for water vapor. But that process of it becoming a gas and turning from water to water vapor is evaporation. So here we have the whole process and we add more and more and more heat. So if we add heat to ice, which is a solid, it will melt and make the ice turn into a liquid, which is water. When we add heat to the water will start to evaporate and turn into a gas. Okay, let's go to the next page. Here we go. So how can cooling change matter? So when we cool something, we're taking heat away from it. So matter can also change by cooling or taking away heat. Gases condense when they are cooled. Condense means to change from a gas to a liquid. So if I start to remove heat from that gas, so an example would be this condensation right here on this window, then it starts to turn back into a liquid. And you might see that on the side of your glass, like your cup, or the side of this water bottle right here. And you can see how the water vapor that's in the air, when it hits the cool surface of this window or like a water bottle or a cup of ice water, then it will start to condense and turn back to a liquid. So water vapor in the air condenses when it touches cool objects. This is why you see small drops of water on the outside of a cold glass. When liquid cools, they can freeze or become solid. Wax and some other liquids will freeze at room temperature. Other liquids, such as water, need to be much colder to freeze. So here's another example. When we add heat to this solid wax, it will start to melt and turn into a liquid. And then as it starts to cool off again, when we blow out the candle, then this liquid wax turns back into a solid and it's hard again. So we have melting, and then we have evaporation. Let's go. Oh yeah, it's on the previous page. So when we melt when a solid turns to a liquid, we evaporate when a liquid turns to a gas, we condense or have condensation whenever a gas turns to a liquid, and we have freezing whenever a liquid turns to a solid. All right, guys, thanks for watching.